Hi, everyone. And today, on the 9th of May, I got Alex Blumentals, who is from Latvia, the leader of, let me just pronounce that, Alex, because I tried. H2YO, I thought maybe, is that how you say? How do you do that?
I say H2YO, but it's okay.
H2YO. Okay. I thought maybe it's some kind of hidden, thought behind that. So, Alex and I, we are literally like country neighbors. So I'm really glad to onboard the brother from Latvia to the CEO World Record. So, Alex, could you share with us the things we should know about you as the leader and your company?
Well, uh, I am the leader. I'm just part of a team, so I'm kind of a leader, but we are playing in a tight team, and ideas are evolving through our interaction, also with our investors and partners and suppliers. And but the basic idea we have is that people can we need to provide healthier options to people in the workplace in addition to water and coffee. If you have something else to drink, it will help you drink more liquids during the day. If the drinks that you take have no sugar and they have also some high value supplements, and we actually pay a lot of attention to what kinds of vitamins we're putting in there. We're using liposomal vitamins. I'll tell you more about that. But
Mm-hmm.
in essence, let's say where we started from was from a deeper question of health, and we have patent pending, uh, two patents pending about how to link nutrition and hydration with personal health. Just understanding that everybody's different, everybody's body is different, and what you absorb is different, and that we need far more data to personalize things to your tailor to you. So yeah, so
I
it's
love that question. Yeah.
go ahead.
Continue, Alex.
No, I
Yeah,
was
the
just
the
saying.
way you phrase the question that you are looking at every person like as individually and then trying to merge these three aspects into one. I just really love the product. I mean I know that we are not doing any commercial on this interview show, but when I went on the website last week when you applied and today before the interview, I thought, Jesus, this is just so profoundly geniusly simple. So you really got it. Yeah, it's an amazing product. How did you come up with that?
Well, we started a discussion group, and it was called Free on Fridays, and you can think about anything out of the box. And out of that came out a group of people that were thinking about long-term health. And we were thinking, well, how can you reduce the gap between the health span and the lifespan? So realizing that in Europe, people are living, between 10 and 15 years of their end of their life with severe problems. Our number of people with diabetes, I think in the world is 170 million today, and it's expected to reach 300 million by 2030. So, we thought, well, all these chronic problems that are affecting the blood circulation, the brain, etc., they are coming through, not so healthy habits that you have throughout your life. And you have to really start early to do the right things. And so we thought, well, let's start somewhere, and let's start to create healthier options for people in everyday life. So it's like, okay, why do I have to settle for coffee and water? And not that water is bad or coffee is bad. We like both, but we just realized that there's lots and lots of people that just don't drink enough. And it changes your life if you drink a lot more.
How does it changes like our life when we drink more? I mean, I
Well,
literally don't know, Alex. So
yeah, it's quite simple. Let's say your body is like 70% water, and let's say you need to flush out your toxins continuously. And So in the extreme, for example, I was just talking to a doctor, a friend of mine, and he was saying that 80% of his patients are in the clinic, in the hospital, are 70 years or older, and they believe that if they had a glass of tea or a cup of coffee in the morning, that they have covered their drinking needs, and they find that they have thick blood, and the risk of severe cardiac problems is growing and so on. But in the everyday life, your attention span falls. It's like there are lots of research that proves that even 2-3% difference in hydration reduces your attention and productivity, or different ways of calling your
Wow.
mental by 20-25%. So and you think, well, 2-3% is a lot. No, it's not a lot. I mean, everybody likes to go to the scale in the morning because they weigh less. It's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinner. And the reason is because you're dehydrated, because you haven't had any water for 12 hours in the night. So you go to the scale and you weigh less. And this 1 kilo difference, or 1.5 kilo difference, is enough to impact your, general, health functioning. So if you think throughout the day you're taking sugar and caffeine to boost your attention span, but you are kind of going through peaks and valleys, and all this fall going up and down, it has an effect on you. It's much better to drink vitamin B throughout the day than to drink coffee throughout the day, for example.
I, I'm literally right now seeing me drinking those 3 cups of coffee throughout the day. I did it today. And right now I'm thinking I have to change that habit. You at least are motivating me to do that. It's just hopefully that I can pull that together and make it happen, because I never was aware that it can actually increase um, the span of attention. And attention is, like, for me, is everything. Health is everything, but having attention and being able to focus throughout the day with all the information around, and us being constantly distracted, isn't that a huge thing? It's something you can't buy. So amazing. So how is the world better off, Alex, because you and your amazing product is in it?
Well, I mean, we don't know yet. It's too soon to tell, but I mean, we really hope that we help to reduce a little bit, packaged goods. So, I mean, let's say I think market today is uh, 95+% is in little bottles or cans. So our little machine, let's say in an office of 100 people, will replace something like 500 kilos of plastic. If every drink was compared to a bottle, I mean, that would be quite a lot.
Hmm.
And we made some paper, back of the envelope calculations that if we manage to ever install 400,000 of these machines, we will replace as much plastic as Coca-Cola produces in a year. So
Wow, this is
whether we
huge.
will get there, I
This
don't
is an
know. But
amazing.
but I think again,
You
it's like,
will.
we're not pushing anybody to change their habits. I think that you need to create options, and if the options are available, so if you have something really tasty that doesn't have calories and doesn't have sugar, and it tastes really really great, and it's available, it's always there, and it has diversity of flavors that suit the tastes of different people, then it can work, and we see it working in offices. And so, I mean, we're really, convinced that if you put it in, there's 40% of the employees that will love it.
I love the idea that you are not forcing to change the habit. Because it is, I mean, yeah, habits we can always exchange to some new alternatives, as you just say. And then and with a possibility to have an alternative and see with our eyes, you as, like, I know that me as human who is very curious, I would definitely try out all of these flavors, and most likely, drink less coffee and have and have wider attention throughout the day. So wonderful. Alex, could you share with me, why do you do what you do? Why, why focusing on health, why focusing on water is something that truly drives you?
Well, I really think that health is a really big thing. It's like, but not health. It's like, we talk about the climate, we talk about the nature, the loss of biodiversity. We are basically disconnected from our bodies and from our physical environment, and we live in this we live in our heads, and we think that we are separate from our bodies, and that extends to separate from the earth and separate from nature. And you know paying attention to the little things that make a difference in our lives, um, for me it's like super important. I am 63. you know so I think a lot about, I don't want to spend 15 years of disease or something. I've always had very good health. Um, and so I pay a lot of attention to my diet and what I eat and where my food comes from and all these things. And I realized that there's so much we can do. So take away the sugar, take away all the fast food, and it's like we have to help that happen. It pollutes a lot and it's really toxic. And if we can reduce that a bit, I think that's a contribution to the world.
Mm. Yeah, it sounds so good. I just, when you said that you are 63, when I just met you, I thought you're like what, like 50 something, in my head. So so yeah, so it obviously, works. It's you are just a living proof of that. And Alex, if you could change like one thing in this beautiful planet Earth that truly, truly like frustrates you to the moment that that you want to do something about that. What is that thing that is so freaking frustrating you?
Uh, that's very simple. I think the simple answer to that is that we are too narrowly focused on, uh, you know, wanting to plan our lives, and wanting to define upfront, where the profit is going to come from, where is your life going to be settled, and so on. And, I like to approach life as a process of discovery, and let people influence us, and let people influence me. And I realize that when people come together with more freedom, they generate amazing stuff. Um, when I was younger, I was kind of so mental, and making plans, and trying to get places, and this for me was a process of going to burn out, when I did burn out a couple of times.
Mm.
But now I kind of think that you know if you can allow yourself to live that creative space that emerges when people are really connecting, that gives you a lot more happiness, and again health. But it's because you are kind of aligning with your inner purpose. And uh, and it will come. It's like it's always a good investment. I mean, we invest in our team. We ask our investors to invest in our team. Um I'm not concerned at all about profit. I mean, we're going to be super profitable. I mean, that's not. I mean, it may take longer time, or something, but if we're open and flexible, and we are integrating all our partners in the process, then that's, for me, it's the answer. It's like, if you say, what can I change? What would I like to see change? Is people stressing less and connecting more.
Mm. Okay, this is epic. I'm listening to that and it's just like melting on me. I truly get that. Not only understand, but but I believe in that with all the molecules of my body. That, as you said so beautifully, that when we have freedom, or when we are in oneness with ourselves, with nature, acknowledging that we are part of that, and we allow ourselves like to surrender to that discovery process. I mean, you can put so many linear things in a Gantt chart diagram, but it will never gonna unfold all that magical connections, or like really, breakthrough connections that this expansive, I don't know, space, or yeah, is giving you. My dream, or the biggest audacious goal, is that these type of practices are landing in the business ecosystems, that we are kind of going away from this linear, like, or very linear, to non-linear, and, as you say, discovery kind of process, and surrendering. You've so beautifully said that. Do you remember any moment in your life when you realized that? Because you talked about the burnout a couple of times, right, Alex? Do you remember that, and could you share that with us?
Well, I did business consulting for 25 years, and I lived in many countries. And I was born in Latin America, so I lived in Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, moved to Belgium, Germany, to the US. I lived in South Africa, and um, there was a moment there where I wanted to help big companies, and I thought I could. And then at some point, I realized um, that it was a good paying job for sure. I never earned more money than then, but I was really frustrated with this activity. I didn't share in the goals actually. So it's like, making more money all the time, and do it in shorter time and fire some people, and it's like, okay, this is not working for me. It's like, but to tell the truth is, like, I had a dream, and in this dream, I was conducted to the edge of the ocean, and the tribe said, "Well, you either drown yourself, or we will, drown you." So I had to make a choice,
Wow.
and and this is like you know a very common motif in mythology, where the king needs to be sacrificed for the king to be reborn. And so I understood that my attitude towards the world had to change. I had to drown it. I had to give up my kind of governing idea of how to be in this world, and that started like a 10-year long process for me to kind of get out of that idea. It takes a long time. Between you
Mm.
seeing what you have to do and actually being able to do it, it takes a long time. It's not easy.
Yeah, you have to. Where did because I do a lot of walking with my dog by the seaside, and that's kind of a part of my space where I surrender, and let thoughts, yeah, just being there. And there was a moment where, I mean, a thought just came to me that you have to die to be able to reborn again, kind of to, yeah, to, to to maybe yet rediscover your identity, and mm, how to say that, yeah, and be brave enough to trust that process of kind of, yeah, redefining or reimagining or being reborn again, because it's something so powerful. Because what I hear within your words, even though you're not saying that, I just believe that within those 10 years from the moment you were aware about that, internally aligned till the moment it started manifesting in your world. You grew. I mean, it elevated you as a human at all the levels.
Well,
um
well, I mean, I don't want to be pompous about the, kind of. I think elevation is kind of. Yeah, well, we don't know, but I think you broaden yourself. You broaden your horizons.
Mhm.
You start to look with, I mean, if your eyes were looking only like frontal, now you're looking 360, and you're looking at other things. You're sensing other dimensions of problems, and so it's like you go from a 2D to 3D or 4D. So you're kind of growing in the dimensions you live, and you know, it's like you kind of, when you look back, you say my life was flat. It's like my life was, kind of oriented in a very narrow reality, and then when you're ahead of that, kind of surmounted that thing that is yourself actually. Then you say, oh, okay, life is interesting now. It's super interesting now. It's all connected now. Wow, now this is connected with that. Okay, now, and you start to live in a kind of more emotionally rich space. It becomes more tangible, real, fulfilling, relaxed. Yeah,
Mm.
like that. So elevating, I
Emotionally
don't know. I
rich.
mean, elevating,
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
evolving, probably. Yeah,
yeah.
evolving, it could be as well a better word. And I have a last question, Alex, because what I'm aiming to do is, because you spoke that you've been a consultant. I've been like many years ago, I had my own company. It was within manufacturing, and then I worked within the bank as the executive, and then I turned to the consulting because that's how I figured that where my zone of genius was. And I had as well a big inner conflict, maybe 2 years in the field. We've been for 10 plus, but like 2 years in the industry, I felt a huge inner conflict. That was, I understood that what I do in those either bigger or smaller corporations, it is just creating more waste and creating more wrong consequences. And I just simply couldn't live with that. And I started digging into kind of into this field of, as you are speaking so vividly now, about, the team or people being able to have this expansive space to create, to fulfill, to be aligned with purpose or impact, and naturally kind of discover all these connections in their ecosystem, right? And for the last 8 plus years, and now with this world record, we are literally wanna discover new ways that are the ways you talk today, how to embed them into the daily kind of into the daily being, into the daily work of the team, of the ecosystem. So the question would be, what do you think? What type of limited beliefs today are withholding? Let's call it, traditionally linear top-down approach driven leaders, and what type of new probably beliefs we need to discover in order to move towards more, yeah, this non-linear ways of fulfilling the impact.
Well, that's a difficult question. If I had an answer to that, but I think that
Let's try to find it.
I think the one kind of clue is that, um, in my experience at least, it's like, uh, the magic happens when people are together. There's only so much you can do with this media. Yes, we can. It's really great to meet you on the internet and make this video, but what happens when we spend a couple of days in close proximity, in close quarters with a lot of people in the right context? it's just amazing if it's properly done. We don't have, I mean, say, if I have to point at something that we're doing really, really bad, is at doing that. It's like meetings in companies are super inefficient in general. I mean, not everywhere, but I mean, for the most part, we don't know how to manage group tension and group energy and group genius. And I think that this is where, the biggest thing we have to look at is, it's like building the connections, building the connectedness, and allowing the magic to happen. I mean, that's, I think, my 2 cents to this question, but it's a huge question, of course.
I know, I know. And speaking about beliefs, are there any new beliefs we should, I don't know how to say it. Let me phrase that. We could, if I'm a leader who been blueprinted in a top-down linear approach to grow the business at any cost, that's most likely how it is, right? And I listen to all of you guys, and then I think, okay, let me try this, let me just give a chance to try something, some new practices. So how could I then prepare myself for that step? Do I need
Hmm.
a belief? Do I need um
Well, the fundamental. No, I don't think you have to believe in anything. I mean, say, I think that's kind of hopeless to try to believe in things that are not you. But what you don't know is you. I mean, you have to discover who you are. And let's say, for the most part, I mean, let's say you're identified with ideas that are not yours. You're identified with ways of being in the world that are not yours. Uh, and this is the stress that gives you disease. It's like, if you are uh, truly yourself, then you don't have disease. So the first thing you have to ask is, am I healthy? If you are healthy, if you really are full of energy, and when I say you're healthy, is your family is healthy, your children are healthy, your wife is healthy. You're not pushing that, because you say, in the consulting world, for example, it's very common that the wives get cancer, or they get some horrible diseases. It's because the guys are, or whoever is doing the job is pushing that stress out into this immediate environment, and we are living as a system, and somebody else is going to embody that disease. So when I
hmm,
say healthy, it's like, you need to be healthy, children healthy, wife healthy, family healthy, dog healthy, community healthy. And if you're managing that, then you're doing the right thing. But if you start to, instead of asking what do I need to believe, just pay attention to your environment, and observe, and say, well, how am I responsible? I give you a short example.
sure.
Many years ago, we were living in Germany, and there was a shooting, and some in some school. And you know in other countries, in other contexts, people say, who's to blame? The parents were wrong. They educated the child wrong. So in this community in Germany, the guys came together as a town and said, what are we doing as a town that this can happen and manifest here? You see, that's the difference. It's like, if you say,
Hmm.
if something is happening in my environment, what am I doing? How are we as an environment allowing, or generating this situation as a company? I mean, why is that company unhappy and unsuccessful? What's happening, and how are we responsible? Instead of saying, well, who's the wrong guy, or the wrong lady, or the wrong manager, or the wrong something. It's no, it's this questioning of uh, of that's what I say. When you become aware with more degrees of vision, is like, you say, okay, I mean, there's a bigger holistic picture, and what we're doing at multiple levels is having that effect, and own it. Just say, okay, I'm responsible for that.
Hmm. And own it. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Alex. That was such a profound advice. And I'll definitely, you know what? I'll definitely use that in our future book because this is really really great. I'm sure that not only the new generation of like my son, he's 12 soon, and other leaders, they can definitely use that because there's just so much wisdom we have from our innate intelligence. Well, thank you so much for being with us today and joining the CEO World Record. I'm just so glad that we spoke, and I know that I could speak with you for another hour. Thank you, Alex.
We'll meet for that in Klaipeda for a coffee, Laura.
Sure, sure. We're going to do that. I'll just stop the
All right.
recording and we'll plan that.
All right.